From one country to another, the Bristol Channel, which has the second highest tidal range in the world, has only been swam by a few people. The 50-foot variance in tides, complicated with scattered headlands and islands, has troubled many. From Penarth, South Wales to Clevedon, Somerset, the 12-mile swim was first swam by Kathleen Thomas, who was just 21 years of age in 1927. Followed 2 years later by Edith Parnell, who was just 16 years old, and still to this day remains the youngest person ever to have crossed it. Nick is a lecturer at Cardiff Metropolitan University. He's a family man, a sports athlete who enjoys a surf in his spare time, and an all-round good guy who would go above and beyond to help others. He is planning on joining the accomplishments of Kathleen Thomas and Edith Parnell. However, very few people have managed to cross the channel successfully since.
So Nick we've been together like 13 years, and he's always been like looking for the next adventure. He's like a child. He is my third child. That's what I always explain like to people. Like, I have 3 kids, he being the third one, and he's a school teacher. Obviously, that's why he has got this kind of like fun nature. He is you know, he's fun to be with. Gets annoying, but you know but he is. I think he's got a serious side to him as well.
Just a bit of a trickster, and that's just developed into a personality whereby he just loves, he's just a fun-loving guy.
Yeah, honestly, he's top bloke. One of my best mates for sure. He's one of those guys you can sort of always count on, and sort of over the years we've had loads of adventures together. But I don't know, I've just got this bad feeling that this challenge might be just one step too far.
This is the magical bench where it all began. This is where the idea came from. This is, we just swam from here to just past Barry, and we had a few beers, and the beers got us talking, we can do that, we can surely do this. That's the magical bench, that's where it all began.
It's expected. I'm always thinking, sometimes I put the ideas in his head as well, which are like, I don't know whether I'm stupid to do that. I've already like suggested what the next one should be, but he's always looking for the next big thing. It's not just I'm going to do an Ironman, or I'm going to do a marathon, or it's I'm going to do a marathon with a giant attached to my back, or I'm going to do, I'm going to swim around Wales or something.
So Breast Cancer Now is a charity that's really close to our family. My mum is a volunteer. She's dedicated time, passion, energy into it for the last, it's going to be coming on now, maybe 10 years.
Coronavirus update, 17th of March today. We just received news that our pool is going to be closing. Obviously not the end of the world. A lot more serious stuff going on out there. My bath's not that big, so probably going to have to adapt to training. We are potentially facing a lockdown, so just the thought of being locked in with my kids.
On March 24th, 2020, the United Kingdom went into full lockdown. Wales was forced to shut non-essential shops, no leisure facilities were open, nothing. Which meant one thing: Nick was unable to swim, and his challenge was questionable whether it could still be achieved.
The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades, and this country is not alone. All over the world, we're seeing the devastating impact of this invisible killer. And so tonight, I want to update you on the latest steps we're taking to fight the disease and what you can do to help. The time has now come for us all to do more. From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home. Because the critical thing we must do to stop the disease spreading between households.
So today is all about adapting. We had the news from Boris that we are on lockdown, we can't leave, beaches are shut, pools are shut, which is a bit of a kick in the teeth to my training for this challenge, but you know, there's people out there dying, people who can't put food on the table. This is just a swim. So, trying to remain positive. Got a home gym, gonna run, gonna do some home workouts. We've got a 10-foot trampoline just to keep the kids and me entertained, but trying to remain positive. We're gonna do this.
I was just thinking about all the money they could have got and the amazing stuff that money goes to. It just wasn't coming through to the charity at all. So this was like the week, so this was on a Monday, and one of my best mates, Cliff, I literally just sent him a message that asked him, how big's your garden?
Run guys, Clifford and Nick for running the garden marathon. Please donate now at Breast Cancer Now. You know, guys, well done for what you did, man. I don't think I could ever run a garden marathon.
Hi, Mike Phillips here, Ambassador of Breast Cancer Now. I want to say a quick good luck message and thanks for the support to Nick and Cliff. You're doing the marathon in the garden today.
3 o'clock today. Get involved. Get your nan involved as well. She loves some laps of that garden. Get the kids involved, go on. Right, mate? Mile 2. Loving this wig, I'll be honest. Right, mile 2. It's taken me 37 minutes. It's getting serious now. Wifey's in on the action. Kiddies are in. Wig's gone. And that's it. 7 hours in this bloody garden. I'm going for the victory lap. I'm putting the bins out. Oh. Can I say a massive thank you to my bestie, Cliff Searle. I suggested to him this day a week, and he just said, yeah, you'd be up for it. And we measured out our courses and our gardens, they were the same, so we went for it. Can I also say a massive thank you to everyone that's donated. It's going to make a huge difference.
It was June 23rd, and lockdown started easing for the United Kingdom, which meant one thing. Leisure facilities started opening and travel restrictions were lifted. This was where Nick resumed his swimming training, but this time in the open water.
That was some scary current. The currents are ripping that way now. So I'm going to do one more, but I'm going to stay close to the shore here because we don't want Michael Burke and 999 back. So yeah, I'll just keep going back and forth here. But out there, that was scary.
Yeah. I have like the top life insurance on that guy. Like, he does these things, and even just when he's going on a normal day, when he just goes surfing, and he'll go off at like 5 o'clock in the morning to go surfing down to Porthcawl, and then I don't hear from him till like 10 o'clock. I always think, is this going to be the day that he doesn't come back? Is this going to be the day that somebody, because he goes on his own a lot of the time. He's a really strong swimmer and really competent in the water, but even the most competent swimmers get into trouble.
There are sacrifices. There are times where, I could have spent time with the kids. I could have. That's a big one. I do feel really guilty about that. Leaving in the morning, and Addie saying to me one morning, was my youngest, "You're going again, Daddy?" Yeah. But at the same time, by them seeing me go out and saying that I'm going to do something and doing it, I think that's important as well. I'm going to learn something.
Not only was Nick faced with a bundle of hurdles, but the current lockdown restrictions meant that he was unable to obtain a safety vessel to follow him across the Bristol Channel, which meant his challenge was in jeopardy and may not be doable.
No, I'm just an idiot who just does these stupid challenges. They're the inspirational ones. They adapt their life, their whole livelihoods. They've got to live with this. It's amazing. Not just them, and there's other forms of cancer, obviously. One of my best mates, one of my really good mates, I'm just hugely inspired by him and how he's adapted. My supervisors in work, so generous with his time. It's as if it didn't even happen, and he's just adapted. And unfortunately, I lost my uncle this week, and the whole time, I rang him on Monday. And he just wanted to talk about this challenge. It was, he didn't even want to acknowledge that he was in a hospice and it could be the end. And he was just, I was more blown away by that. So I think about them the whole time. And if we can raise some money to make their life a little bit more comfortable in their last bit, or for them to live with this disease, then hopefully that's what we'll do.
Hi, I'm Jane, and I've survived breast cancer. I got a letter, and it was actually the morning when I was packing to go to Florida for a week, and I got this letter, and it said, "Please contact Breast Test Wales." So I went away for a week, and while I was away, we took my mother-in-law first time to Florida, and my sister-in-law, and it was her 50th birthday. We were celebrating, my husband and the two of them. So I had to keep this a secret while we were away, because my mother-in-law had a year before, at the age of, 80, in early 80s, had a mastectomy. So she was good, and we didn't really discuss it till right at the end, when I was getting very twitchy. And I'd been lying in the sun at various times, listening to music, thinking about these terrible things you think about, of the music I wanted at my funeral. And Kirsty MacColl, a couple of her songs, I loved them, and I had those, they were going to be at my funeral. Oh my goodness. Why does it happen to you? And within my circle at that point, I didn't really know anybody else, even though the figures are very high, as we know, sadly. I didn't really know anybody else except my mother-in-law. And of course, when I told her, she was devastated, because she had had it, but she's old and she just got on with it. Whereas she felt, for me, it was a totally different case. So it was a hell of a shock.
Nearly 11,000 people in the UK could be living with undiagnosed breast cancer due to the coronavirus pandemic. The coronavirus outbreak has changed all aspects of life, and it remains an extremely difficult and uncertain time for so many people affected by breast cancer. The stark reality is that the current COVID-19 situation represents a major roadblock to breast cancer research progress. Nearly 1 million women in the UK have missed potentially life-saving NHS breast screening due to COVID-19, and these screenings are vital.
I think people aren't aware of the amazing work that they do. People get cancer, they've still got to go to work, they've still got to put food on the table, they've still got to provide for family, still got a family, still life goes on. Life doesn't stop with cancer.
It was the 8th of July, 1 month before the planned event. Nick had finally received some good news. He had found an alternative location where it was safe and viewer-friendly. He was going to swim the length of the Bristol Channel, but in a lake.